You know, I don't think as a coach you think of those things. I think with athletes, you can sort of look at your point total, your rebounds, and you can think, but as a coach, you just never quite think about this.
Well, Coach, your dream has come true. You are the featured guest this week on the Red and Blue Review. Hey, Gary Gupton here, along with my good friend Howie Lindsay. No Daryl Bird this week. He's on vacation. We do not have a cat, but we do have a caddy, a Cadillac XLR over this shoulder. Howie, you're stepping out on me here, this Mercedes.
Absolutely.
What are you doing here?
Mercedes 230. This thing is really nice. I tell you what, I'll take either one. You can take the Caddy, I'll take the Mercedes, either one.
I'll race you home.
Yeah, we'll just flip for them.
Yeah, this kind of inventory you see here at Tim French Superstores, caddies on down to your starter car. If you got a kid heading off for college or their first car for high school, come see them here at Tim French Superstore. And what we're going to do on the show today is we're going to celebrate Rick Pitino being named into the Basketball Hall of Fame. All those issues and more coming up right now in our Game Time Storyline. This portion of the Red and Blue Review is brought to you by the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety. You're not only sharing the row with Mercedes and Cadillacs, but you're sharing it with motorcycles. So take care. That request on behalf of the Kentucky Office of Highway Safety. Rick Pitino is the only coach in men's basketball history to lead two different teams to the national championship, and he did that after he was named to the Naismith Hall of Fame.
Please welcome to the Hall of Fame, Coach Rick Pitino.
Rick Pitino's record at the University of Louisville does include that freshly won national championship, a couple of other Final Fours, back-to-back Final Fours included in that, and a 3-10-1-1-1 average of about 73%. He's won about 74% of his games. Howie, does Coach Pitino make it into the Hall of Fame without his time at Kentucky?
That's a great question, and I wonder, because at that point he'd be kind of the frustrated GM of the Boston Celtics instead of the triumphant coach of the Wildcats and the Cardinals. I mean, I think he needed. I don't necessarily think that his resume needed it, but in terms of who he is and in terms of his overall perception resume, I guess it would be really was helped by coming back to Louisville, proving he can do it again, and proving that system still works.
Rick Pitino says he knows what got him into the Hall of Fame as a coach, and it was all those guys he had as players.
I was just thinking of BU players, New York Knicks players. I was looking at the jersey, seeing 13, thinking of Mark Jackson, who was our Rookie of the Year, Patrick Ewing, Oakley, all the guys I had with the Knicks who, in winning an Atlantic Division championship, and then your mind races through Providence and then Kentucky, and then it keeps on going. Your mind keeps racing, and you realize why you're here. You haven't grabbed the rebound, scored a point, or you just had great athletes along the way that helped get you here.
Yeah, you just wonder if he had more pros on that '96 Kentucky team than he did with the Celtics.
He did.
I think he did.
Yeah.
But just think about all the players that Rick Pitino has either coached or assistant coached or been around or cultivated into pros. I mean, he's a historian of the game just in terms of the guys that he's coached with. I mean, think of the guys that he coached at Kentucky, those recruiting classes, that team that he put together, just a remarkable run. And then he's done it again with Louisville. And he coached with the Celtics and with the Knicks, and he's coached against some of the best players in NBA history. He's a Hall of Famer.
Well, take a look at the winning percentage that Rick has during his work at the University of Kentucky. Came there in '89, left in '97. His last 2 years at Kentucky, he had a national championship in his Final Four. His most two recent years at Louisville, a national championship and a Final Four. Runners-up, at least in the Kentucky side of that, '97 when he left. It kind of makes you wonder, Howie, if he hadn't have batted an eye, if you will, at Boston, would he have built a real dynasty at the University of Kentucky, maybe to rival what John Wooden did at UCLA? Because he had it rolling.
Oh, wow, did he ever? I think he would have. I really do. I think he would have had a wander. He would have looked at the NBA. It may not have been the Celtics. It may have been somebody, Lakers, whatever. Somebody would have come along. But if he would have kept going at Kentucky, he'd have at least 2 more titles. I mean, I have no question about that. And probably 4 Final Fours, 6 Final Fours. I don't know how many he'd have, but he just had it rolling at such a high level. I mean, I think that mid-'90s Kentucky changed the game of college basketball.
Rick Pitino found out he was one of the newest inductees into the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame at the precise moment he also found out that his young son Richard was replacing Tubby Smith as the head coach at Minnesota.
We never expected Richard to be going to Minnesota. It happened all of a sudden. So to happen at the same time was very eerie, because I was trying to put the Hall of Fame. When I heard, we have good news for you, I immediately put it on speakerphone. I wanted my wife to listen, and then all of a sudden this text pops up, and I thought I saw Go Gophers, and I put my glasses on. I said, I'm a little stunned right now, and so it was an unbelievable moment that I'll never forget.
It really legitimately happened at the exact time, and we didn't know how to celebrate. I was so proud of him. He was so happy for me, so it was a really special moment.
You folks have got to understand something at home. He is probably happier about Richard Pitino getting that Minnesota job than he is about the Hall of Fame. I have never seen, and maybe I just don't understand it yet. My son's not grown yet, but he watches Richard Pitino's games. He has them recorded so that when he flies home, he can watch them on the flight. He's just fanatical about it, and to see, to have that happen at the exact same moment. It's awesome. He's had a pretty good run recently. I mean, you think about it, he had like the national championship, the Hall of Fame. His son gets a primo gig. He caught a 60-pound marlin. He's had a horse in the Derby.
Yeah.
Like he had a March and April like nobody's ever seen.
Rick Pitino intoxicated those Kentucky fans when he pulled them away from the brink of shame. We all remember that infamous cover on Sports Illustrated all the way to the national championship, and he did so with really two calling cards: shooting threes and playing full court defense. Well, Lenny Wilkins, another Hall of Famer, says Rick may have introduced the three-point shot and fast break basketball to the University of Kentucky, but he did not invent it.
Yeah, well, it was a little avant-garde, but I was a guard that grew up playing defense, so I understood it and appreciated it, and Joe Mulaney used it quite a bit at Providence before Rick. And so the thing is that defense can affect the game. It keeps you in the game, gives you a chance to win, and certainly he was a proponent of it, and you got to love it. Someone who played a lot of defense, I loved it, and I thought it was a way to help my team.
Yeah, Rick Pitino may not have invented it, but I think he perfected it in the mid-'90s. Yeah, and you think back to when Pitino had it rolling, and Nolan Richardson had it rolling at Arkansas. That was fun basketball. That was fun college basketball, and I think that's what we're going to see with this state, with Cal and Rick going at it, with both programs at a very high level. I don't see an SEC rival right now, so let's say Kentucky and Louisville and play high-level basketball and bring it home to the Bluegrass State.
The Red and Blue Review is coming to you this week from Tim French Superstores.
They're hanging steel, and we're making deals here at Tim French Superstores in Elizabethtown while we're under construction. Brian, tell them about some deals.
We're the home of the Hot 100. That means we have over 100 cars priced at $250 or less per month right here at Tim French Superstores. Now back to you, Gary.
Brian, thank you, Tim. Rick Pitino, on the day that he won the national championship that morning, he was presented his Hall of Fame jersey, number 13, with the Pitino name stitched across the top of that. After the Cards won the national championship, Pitino presented that jersey to his hero, his sister-in-law.
The greatest thing about this is there's probably no greater moment than the birth of your children. But to share this incredible moment with your children and family. Last night I had dinner with 23 people, and a lot of my nieces and nephews do not have a dad, and they all share in this moment, some 23 people. And it's just awesome for my family. For me, it's humbling, but I realize why I'm here. It goes back to Mark Jackson and Ewing, to Mashburn, on and on and on. So I know why I'm here.
I have two moments in all my footage of the Final Four that get a little dusty in the room.
Yeah.
One is him handing this jersey to Mary Minardi, and just what that means, what it meant to him. And to me, it's a perfect encapsulation of the new Rick Pitino, of the man that he's become over these last 10 years, over the past 20 years, really, of the journey that he's been on, of the humbling that he's had. And he's always talked about being hungry and poor, hungry, and driven. I think he's understood that phrase better within the last 3-4 years than he's ever had in the past. And it's just remarkable to see. And real quick, the other one that gets dusty in the room for me is when I'm videotaping Kevin Ware's mom, and she's singing, I think, with the One Shining Moment. And you think about just those moments. I'll remember him giving that jersey forever, just because none of us knew what he's doing at the time, and then you hear later that he gave that jersey. What a special moment.
Rick Pitino coached at Boston University. He also coached the Boston Celtics. When we come back, we'll talk about why Rick was successful in one venue but not the other. As we head to the break, I'll invite you to tune in to Daryl's Magazine. Go to catspaws.com. You can sign up to get the Cat's Paws Express that comes out on a very periodic basis through the summer to keep you up with what's going on Planet Blue. The Red and Blue Review from Tim French coming right back here in just a couple of minutes.
Kenny Walker here for Tim French Superstore. If it's your game plan to get the best deal on a great car, truck, or SUV, then Tim French Superstore is your place to go.
At Tim French Superstores, we slam dunk the competition.
You'd have to be crazy not to take advantage of these deals.
It's like having the home court advantage. Think you can get a better deal somewhere else?
Well, we'll catch you on the rebound. Tim French Superstore in Radcliffe.
Today we're talking about the Polotate. Food Network voted it the top pizza in Kentucky, and it is an International Pizza Award winner. Come down and try the Polotate at Boomba's Pizza, Westport Village.
Welcome to the new Bachman Subaru. We have expanded our Subaru service, sales, and parts departments to serve you, our customers. Bachman Subaru has our best ever selection of all the new Subaru models, or get a certified pre-owned Subaru from our great inventory. If you already own a Subaru, we now have an expanded service area for those few times you do need service. Visit us today at Bachman Subaru. Bachman makes the difference.
Bachman makes a difference.
What's your idea of fun? Whatever your idea of fun is, we have a park for that. Kentucky State Parks.
Yeah, I just picked her up. We should be there in 20 minutes. Who is it? Oh, it's him. Where is he?
I know. Yeah, I know.
Join the club at Sam Swope Auto Group. When you service a vehicle at any Sam Swope dealership, you automatically become a Service VIP Rewards member. You get member pricing on parts and service, lost key return, and emergency roadside assistance. Plus, you can earn points that qualify you for discounts on your next vehicle purchase, up to $2,500. The best part is becoming a member is free. Become a member today at any Sam Swope dealership. Nobody walks away because everybody saves.
Today we're talking about the Polotate. Food Network voted it the top pizza in Kentucky, and it is an International Pizza Award winner. Come down and try the Polotate at Boomba's Pizza, Westport Village.
Welcome back to the Red and Blue Review. We've got what you want. Here at our Elizabethtown location and our Radcliffe and Fort Knox location, we have over 150 more cars.
Or you can visit our website, which is 351auto.com. Now back to you, Gary.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Tim. Welcome back to the show here. This portion of the Red and Blue Review is brought to you by Closets by Design. Jeff Speedy, a former U of L athlete, would love to give you a free estimate on what it would cost to get your garage looking as good as this one does. 502-425-4728. Closets by Design. Turn your imagination into reality and imagine your life totally organized. And if you get your garage straightened out, you got room for a Caddy or a Mercedes-Benz like they have here at Tim French Superstore. Well, when you hear Jim Nantz make his introduction of Rick Pitino a few weeks ago, announcing he was an official member of the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame, it makes you wonder why Pitino wasn't already one of college basketball's immortals.
The only coach in men's history to lead 3 different schools to the Final Four. More than 600 wins in his career, including a national championship at Kentucky in 1996. Parenthetically, if he wins tonight, his all-time win total will match right on the number John Wooden. His collegiate teams have amassed a winning percentage of over 70%. He's been in more than 20 postseason events, including 11 Elite Eight contests. He's never lost in a Sweet 16 game. Give him 4 days to prepare for somebody, he's 11-0. He's currently the head coach at the University of Louisville, where his Cardinals are in the Final Four for the second straight year. And tonight, he tries to become the first coach in the history of college basketball to win 2 national championships at 2 different schools. Please welcome to the Hall of Fame, Coach Rick Pitino.
I could argue that he's a Hall of Famer just based on that 11-0 Sweet 16 record. I mean, think about that. That means that 11 times you've been to the Elite Eight, just by itself. And that also means that you've outcoached somebody 11 times at a high major level at the Sweet 16. That stat alone is extremely telling to me. And then you add in, he's got 2 championships now. He's got 7 Final Fours. He's got 23 former assistants who are now who've gone on to be head coaches, and then another 6 players who've gone on to be head coaches. I mean, that is a big coaching tree. For his influence in the game alone, I think he's a Hall of Famer. And
I think last year when he was nominated and didn't get in, I think that was clearly a pushback from the Karen Cypher affair. I think that had a definite impact, and that was sort of college basketball's way of distancing themselves from that. How do you think that affair changed his life? He is a different person now, it seems to me like.
I do think it changed his perspective. I certainly think there have been some major events in the recent past. Not just that, but also, the 9/11, the death of Billy Minardi. I mean, you think about the events that have happened just since he came to Louisville and how that's shaped him as a person. Frankly, I'm really anxious to see what that book entails with Eric Crawford, that he and Eric Crawford are working on, because I want to see what he has learned through all these trials. Because this man has been through some trials. And to come out on top like he has in the last month or two, and to be a change man, to understand what grace is, what humble is, I think in a better way. He's a different person now than he was 10 years ago, and a much better person, I would argue.
The 2013 Naismith the Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame includes a couple of enshrinees in the same class with Rick Pitino, a couple of guys that he coached against during his NBA career, Bernard King and Gary Payton.
Bernard was one of the most special players I've ever witnessed. And not only during those times I got to watch Bernard compete against Bird and McHale in the playoffs, and was there when he had 2 50-point games in Texas. And back then there was only one assistant coach. Richie Adebayo was our scouter, and he would come back for some of the games, and you were the only coach, and I got a chance to sit up front and witness all of what was going on. And then as a head coach, you got a chance to watch Gary Payton and watch these great players compete. I was fortunate because Michael was in his prime then, and all the greatest players in the history of the game, to watch them compete was awesome.
He was coaching in the NBA during probably the golden era of the NBA.
Magic, Bird, Kareem.
Fantastic. Yeah. And granted, 20 years from now, we may look back at right now and think, Kobe and LeBron and all these players, but Kevin Durant. But back then you think about all those big time stars, and he was coaching there. He's coached some fantastic college superstars. I know some old guys who say Bernard King's the best scorer ever. I mean, and he's going to be enshrined with Bernard King. It's cool to think of how much history he's been on hand to witness.
The Red and Blue Review is coming to you from Tim French Superstore right here in Hardin County. They have 3 locations just right down Dixie Highway. The newest location is in Elizabethtown, again on Dixie Highway. They're getting the steel put up there now. They'll have the building all up and ready to go in about 5 months, but there are cars sitting on that lot right now. And if you want to look at all their inventory in one convenient spot, just go to 351auto.com. Well, Gary Payton is one of Rick Pitino's 2013 Hall of Fame inductee classmates. Payton got the nickname The Glove because of the way he played defense when he was in the pros is exactly the way Pitino preaches it.
Well, first, I love Coach. I would have loved to play for him because he presses a lot and I get a lot of steals. So I would have got a lot of easy baskets. But I had a great coach, too, that coached nothing but defense. When I went to him and Ralph Miller at Oregon State, I was an offensive-minded guy, and he pulled me to the side and he said, "You're going to be one of the greatest defensive point guards ever." I never thought about it like that. I looked at him and I said, okay, right, I'm gonna shoot every time I get the ball. But it was really funny because we played a week or two without a basketball. We played a lot of defensive slides and all that stuff, and that's where Coach Miller was. And I got really good, and I started liking it, and it became a knack to me, and then I just took it on from there.
Of Russ Smith. You know, if you think about how a scorer was told right before he started into his pro career, essentially, you need to become a defender, and that's what's going to get you there. I wonder if that's the speech that Rick Pitino is giving Russ Smith right about now.
Yeah.
But it just shows, you know, how defense wins championships, and that's certainly Rick Pitino's proven that.
One of the mysteries of Rick Pitino's career is what happened to him in the NBA. He won a little over half of his games when he was the Knicks coach right before he came to Kentucky. He leaves Kentucky, goes to Boston, and loses loses more than half of his games. Howie, why was Rick not successful that second stint in the NBA?
I think the NBA is and has always been probably a player's game. It is not centered around the coach, and the coach can suggest things, but you know, he's not going to tell anybody what to do. So I think Rick Pitino's better suited for the college game, where his word goes, and you say, you guys are going to run this exact set, and they do it. The NBA is not quite like that.
And that's exactly what Lenny Wilkins told me. He said the reason why Rick has been successful is his ability to get his word through and to his players.
He's a guy that can communicate. You know, he communicates well with his players. They understand what's expected of them, you know, what chances they have and how they should play the game. And I think the young people, they appreciate that. They love it. They love knowing and understanding what's expected of them. And I think he's done a great job.
Hey, when Rick Pitino communicates, we cover it on CardinalSports.com. So, and he is a phenomenal communicator, no doubt about it. We love his press conferences. Check out all your Cardinal news at CardinalSports.com. Football, basketball, all the Rick Pitino news, CardinalSports.com.